Hey there. I am continuing to work on OrgPrez today. So yesterday I took my older plugin that is all about J programming, JPrez, and I extracted this thing that I'm calling OrgPrez, which is all about which is just the part that reads an org file, which is a text file, an outline, and then um, does all the scripting in Godot and whatnot. So I'm trying to separate them, all the J stuff from the just general presentation stuff. So yesterday, I kind of isolated the code for actually just creating the plugin and creating a new top level tab in Godot, which looks like this. Got this OrgPrez button here now, and then it shows a scene that is leaking out into the rest of the world. So it's not quite right, but at least it's working. And so now the next thing is I'm going to actually get it to load, uh, you know, so for example, when you click on an org file called .org, and then you click on something, right now it's loading the information into this file and this tab and this tab and this tab, and I want it to be in this tab right here, so that basically when you click on the file, this thing opens and you see the script, the screenplay. Um, and if possible, I'm probably going to try and like hide these things, like because outlines are kind of independent from the Godot concept of a scene. They're kind of like a level up from a scene. So if possible, I'm going to try and hide all these docs, like hide the nodes and all that stuff. I don't know if I can do that, but I think if you can hide part in this box, then maybe you could hide all these parts as well, and we can get it to just completely override uh, the layout of this stuff. So I don't know if that's true or not. I think it's possible. But anyways, that's what I'm going to try today. That's kind of low on my list. So right now, I'm just going to try and move over all the code that is in the JPrez directory over that is relevant to org mode, and just move that into the org mode directory. So I'm going to studio mode so I get a different little view of like chat and whatnot. And it says people are in this chat room. I'm not sure I believe it, but if you are, welcome. If you're watching. All right. So let's see. This tool is called Leo, by the way. It's a literate editor with outlines, and I'm just kind of experimenting with it. So this is I've added some to-do items here. The idea is that this is eventually going to become a document that will introduce new people to the project. Okay, so so they don't have to watch hours of video or read through piles and piles of code. Okay, so the idea is, I've previously up here explained how to create a plugin in Godot, how to create that tab. Later down in here, I'm going to talk about what the actual tab is. But right now, I want to talk about org files. So org is just a text document, and I already have an importer here, and so that is in this. It's in this JPrez plugin. So somewhere in here is probably, let's see, I hide this. So somewhere in here is all the stuff about object is org node. Like, how do I associate what I'm trying to reclaim here is how do I know what an org file is? So org node sends resource. So a jprez flavored.org file. Okay, but how do I tell it? How have I told Godot that .org files are um, how have I told that .org files are this correspond to this object. I don't remember how that worked, what I did to do that. I guess maybe one thing I could do is search for .org rni egrep.rni. So literally, I want a dot and then org in these files. So org import importer for. Okay, so import plugins. So maybe I have two kinds of plugins. Org import. Let's see. So let's go back to. You can open this. Yeah, open. And where is it? So add-ons JPrez. Go plugins add-on JPrez. Org import. Get importer name org.jprez. Get visible name jprez screenplay. Get recognized extensions return.org. Get save extension. So let's look at this document that I linked, because I went through the trouble of doing this, but I didn't really like a lot of study into it. Let's see. Bigger. Other people can read this. Let's see. So how to make generic plugins if in doubt. An importer is a special type of editor tool. Import plugin. Let's add the plugin config file first. Oh, so maybe I had to do this. Did I do that? Org import. So let's search for org import. See if where I reference that org import. Org import. Okay, so in the plugin, we load org import, and then add the import plugin. Okay, so that's got it. Okay, so it's like a subcomponent of the main plugin. Got it. Okay, so in that case, we're going to be adding it to this plugin.cf. I'm sorry, to plugin.gd here, and we're going to add it under tree. So let's see what the Godot, the old plugin did. I'm just going to go ahead and OrgPrez add-ons JPrez plugin. Okay, so this is the full code for that. Make that a little bigger for people. Add import plugin org import. I guess I didn't port anything from yesterday. I didn't port anything because I was adding a completely new tab. So this is, so now I've created a new plugin that adds this new tab that previously was not a plugin. It was just a Godot scene, and I did it. I did all the work at runtime. So now I'm moving it into the editor. So most of this, I think, all of these things are going to be I think all of these things are actually part of OrgNode, except for. Okay, so org import is the thing that imports org files. Outline is a panel, so really it should be called like outline panel or something. JPrez chunk list is also a JP chunk list is also a panel. So that's these two panels right here. Excuse me. That's these two panels, outline and chunk list. They're like navigation tools. And again, I want these to only show up when you click on OrgPrez, and when you click on OrgPrez, all the other ones should be hidden. And then when you go to a different tab, all of the other ones should come back, and these two should go away because they only make sense inside of OrgPrez, and nothing else makes sense. Okay, so I don't know if I can do that. I think I can do that. And then maybe some other stuff will come up over here or whatever. We'll see. All right, but so all of that stuff needs to go away. This thing I think can is like going to be the only thing left in this plugin. I don't think JPrez needs to be a plugin, right? So under CD Godot plugin, there's actually CD add-ons. So add-ons is a word. It's an add-on, right? So really, all the work that's being done inside of JPrez, like the actual showing of the controls and stuff, is all done in a scene, and it only relies on JLang RS GD, so JLang Rust Godot bridge. I think JPrez itself as a plugin might just completely go away, except that it might define some runtime stuff. So basically, it's gonna be a thing you add on to OrgPrez that would define some stuff at runtime for the Godot. They basically call that this DLL here, right? So while the editor is running it, I can talk to Jay. Maybe not. Maybe that's complete. Well, this is the generic interface, and this would be specifically for JPrez and JKVM. I don't know. Okay, that probably doesn't matter. All right, let's just try and. So the upshot of that is that basically all of this, except for this line right here, needs to be moved over to org instead of or OrgPrez instead of JPrez, and then JPrez will just be that one line, because editing a sample, that's the actually maybe that should move to waveform, right? Edit resource sample. On audio chunk selected, chunk equals so a chunk is specific to, is a like a section of the org file, like, so it's like one line of the code, and there are like text chunks and REPL chunks, and then there are audio chunks. When you click on an audio chunk, you want to edit that sample. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't want to have a reference there. So well, that's telling me that if I click on this, oh yeah, so we get that immediately. Interesting. Maybe that might go away, and that because I don't know. I'll think about that, because it might be superseded by this. Like, I don't like this should not be for editing. Like this tab right here, all that stuff is going to be the editor. This right here is the editor, right? And so this outline should be up here. That's the decks. These are the chunks that they'll be here. Whatever outline you pick, you get the chunks for it here, lines for it here. Click on one of those lines, and then it should load the waveform. But I don't think it needs to be in here. I think it can just be in this section right here. So we'll see. But let's get At the very least, what I want is when you have the scene, you click on an outline, it should be loaded in the JPrez app. So this can go away. Do I need this at all? So since JPrez is not doing anything else, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to project settings. I'm going to, for now, just disable JPrez. That's interesting. Chunkless didn't go away. So chunkless should be going away here. I'm going to put that in. Not JPrez interface, text and slides, editor tab. So really we need the outline and chunk. So the nav panels. Outline chunkless. And it's probably going to be one panel with like a drop down at the top to switch a scene. But then just a note to myself, we need to merge into one panel. We're going to merge it into one panel. Drop down. So use drop down to select the scene chunk. No, it's not a chunk. It's the slide. The slide scene, whatever. We'll call it slide. Slide section. Once we've got that, it should be used to control animations, not directly edit. Or they may or may not still directly edit. Okay, so yeah, that's that. All right, so let's just go ahead and just do this. So org file resources, the org importer. Right. So the other thing is that when you do this, when you create an org file, so we go into JTalks, work in progress, dealing cards. And this is a bunch of files, but you can see that right next to dealingcards.org, it has dealingcards.org.import, and this is cannot be read. I don't know what that means. And it makes one of these little config files. And it's really not useful. Like there's no benefit to it. It's just something Godot uses to track everything. And I think that this can go away, but only in Godot 4. So in Godot 4, they have this notion of just you have a file that you're keeping, but I don't think it's imported as a resource. It's just something. I don't know. We'll see. It might still create a .import file. And the idea is you're bundling it with your application, so your game or whatever, and so it's a resource that is going to be shipped with your game. And then when you just keep it, it's not actually part of the executable. I believe that's it. But it doesn't matter at all to me because I'm not creating something to distribute. I'm creating a video, right? And all I have to do is just run the program once on my machine and record what came out. So, so I'm going to put this in notes down here. This is not important. So I'm going to put this in the notes, very bottom, and then go back to org importer. Okay, so this works by loading an org import or by loading another plugin from another plugin, this works by loading an importer class from the plugin.cfg. .gd. So that's going to be some more stuff down here under plugin.gd under enter tree. So load the importer. Load the importer. And so the code for that I can just paste in here. So where's so in here we're going to say load the importer, and that's part of the enter tree. So h enter tree. I don't know how in this Leo tool how to a good way to like preserve the context, because like I only want to refer to, you know, like these are all sections of enter tree, but instantiate. Let's really instantiate. Editor tabs. See, I believe now that will have changed the cloned copy of it. Right, which is part of this. Yeah, so it changed the their clones. They share a headline and the text, so you can't just refer to the content. You can't just clone the content with a different title. You have to have a different. You have to have the same. Yeah, the clone node keeps its not name, and it's not there. One of them isn't like definitive, right? So it's not like you're having a reference into the thing. They're actually the same object in two different places. So it's more like I don't know, like a portal or something. It exists in two different places. Or what would you call it? You know, quantum particle that's been superimposed on. What do you call that thing? Entangled. Yeah. I can only imagine that people think I'm just a bizarre person rambling about things. All right, so org file resources importer works by importer class plugin GD. All right, so I can now take this second thing, enter tree, load the importer, copy that node, paste it here. All right, so now this is all stuff to do. Create a top level tab. Now we're doing something to do the import. Okay, so paste node as clone. That's the org importer. Load the importer. Org import.gd.new import. Okay, so org import needs to be defined as well. Maybe call this like definitions. Definitions or declarations. I find these icons very confusing. I switched the theme on this thing since yesterday, and normally like all this stuff is compressed into one little tiny icon, but as soon as you switch to a theme, you get these two giant icons, and it becomes very difficult to see like how far something is indented. Like, to me, like it's hard to tell which one is child of the other. Oh, that's interesting. How do you do that? How do I do that? I don't know what I just did to. Maybe I just clicked shift. I thought maybe I did something to highlight all the parents. Maybe not. All right. So anyway, declarations, map and scene variables, and then now we need to add. So really, this is declare declare app and scene variables, H. And then we're gonna have a new one, and we're gonna say declare org importer. And so then that's literally just this one line. Declare org import. Okay. So those are the declarations. And an enter tree. Declarations are not under enter tree, they're under plugins. Enter tree. Actually place the step. What is happening here? Why is this cloned? Tab label at the top. Oh, I see. These are methods. Methods to place the tab label at the top. It's like a group of methods, right? Whereas up here, I'm really saying like in here, these should be like nouns. This is a description of what is there. Whereas up here, I'm trying to have the titles be like a description of how things got to be that way. So it's more like events and like what are you trying to accomplish. But it's tricky because the clones use the same. I want to drag. The clones use the same names. So this is not the tool I want exactly, but it's so close to the tool I want. Whatever. All right. and maybe it's just I don't know enough about scripting it. This is very, very configurable system. All right. So anyway, so if I save this, I would imagine that now I get status. And if we say get, first of all, why is Emacs doing something? Shouldn't have changed any code there. I guess we do want to remove that. So that is being removed from org import. So in exit tree, we got to remove it as well. All right, so in exit tree, remove the importer. And so that line, all three of these lines need to be. So exit tree, boom. Done. Okay. Copy this node, and then that's something that goes. I could highlight one of these and like keep my context in two different spots, like split this basically. Enter tree, load the importer. So then right next to this, I want to paste this clone. Notice clone. Exit tree, remove the importer, load the importer. Right, so in the importer, we load the importer, remove the importer. So remove import plugin, and we have to declare the see. So up here now you can see the paste notice clone. These are like the steps you would take to make this thing. So in a way, like I'm like this whole all this work I'm doing right now is eventually leading up to almost like a script, a tutorial for how to build this thing, which I may or may not turn into a video or put on the website or whatever. It would be kind of nice to make a summary video that actually just showed all this without my rambling and very streamlined. Maybe I'll do it in OrgPrez, right? Okay, so these are the steps. And if I save this, I have hit status. Well, why Emacs did not save that? So, okay, because I haven't pressed that. So org import, I've declared that. Org import, I've loaded that. So all that can now be removed from JPrez, the JPrez plugin, and moved to the OrgPrez plugin. So get status, that should be all done. Now I say get diff. Hopefully it all worked. I'm gonna. I should probably have it ignore Leo, right? Remove this out of the Leo directory. so git diff. Oh yeah, so I do want this git diff jprez.plugin.gd and OrgPrez plugin.gd. Those two things are what I care about. So 3 little chunks got removed, 3 little chunks got added, and we want to move this from the add-ons directory, the JPrez directory, to the OrgPrez directory. So that I can do in JPrez. And when I do that, that's gonna I'm thinking that's going to change the. I screwed this up. This is a dangerous thing flying around. Okay, so that last thing that we were talking about, org import cd, move to add-ons, OrgPrez. Yeah, and then this does all the work of scanning in here for references. I wonder if it changed the. I wonder if it would have changed that code. We'll see. Like if it did, then it will have changed this code right here, and so this line will disappear. Let's see if it does. No, it didn't. So this is still in the code. It didn't change the source code in that string. Probably fine. But did it change? So it deleted org import gd, and so then we say git add orgprez org import.gd. That should just show us the straight move. And then now, just to make sure that there's nothing weird going on here, make sure all this stuff is no paths in here, but it does say JPrez, so it's called OrgPrez. Or git importer name, org.prez. I don't know what this is for exactly. Org, of course, known, org node. Okay, but so now this has a dependency on org node and org and org node. All right, so now org is this. OrgPrez time tag, that's going to go away. So let me put that in my little note to myself. Probably get rid of timestamp sequence in org class. Or maybe they're just optional, and I don't know. Again, that was for like if I wanted to specify that a particular event happens like milliseconds after the previous event rather than just happening. Org node, org chunk, they all come. All this code comes with me. I don't think there's anything that says like JPrez or begin source J. What is this? Org.gd. Org.g. I don't want to change this while I'm going on. While I'm just moving stuff. Org.gd has begin source J. I probably should just begin source. Okay. So org.gd. And we're going to move that. So here. Org.gd. Move this. Move to OrgPrez. I wonder if you enable the Git integration, it'll version control. I'll do that later when I have a modern version of Godot. All right, so let me see what my list is. We've got org chunk, org parser. Is it org node or org node, not chunk? Org node. Oh, we do have org chunk, org cursor, org node, org time. I think this can go away. Org node also has begin source J. That's for serializing it. Org node GD has same in output. I'm kind of torn between having Godot do the move and do all the work of. So I'm going to go into like how the parser works at some point, but org cursor, org node, chunk. Right, so I'm not seeing comments about JPrez. Maybe there are, but you can also just grep for JPrez. Right, so I'm going to move all those and use this to move all of these. Move to OrgPrez. So I already did one. So two. Okay. So let's close that. OrgPrez has all this stuff in it. JPrez has this. Outline is again that the panel that was here. Probably going to go away, and that's just going to be the org nav or something like that. We'll call it something like that. Org stepper. Yeah, JPrez stepper is what I call it. It'll be the OrgPrez stepper. But okay, that's fine for now. Still have some org path stuff. I mean, JPrez, yeah. So okay, so now we tell Git that we've moved all these files. Git status. Didn't I just literally just say that? Move. Git move. JPrez org.gd OrgPrez org.gd. Oh no, we just say git add. That's right. And then we say git rm jprez, and then that'll make a little arrow. Yeah, so it knows that it is. All right, so I'll just add all these. So git add orgprez org chunk gd org cursor.gd org node.gd org time.gd git rm cursor node jprez org import. All these things that it thinks have been deleted, and they're all renamed now. And then that we've modified them a little bit. And what is diff? Git diff orgprez org import.gd. Right, we renamed those things. Okay, so we'll go ahead and first of all, let's just commit this. Git commit move org files from JPrez to OrgPrez. All right. Git diff OrgPrez org import.gd and org.jprez git commit. So this is where I don't. This is one thing about having Leo and yeah, whatever. It's because the same change is you have to make the same change in OrgPrez. I like to just say if I keep the Leo the Leo file in the same repository, I just say update Leo file and I just do a bunch of changes at once. But it's like sync Leo file. I kind of keep that out of the version control, or keep those separate or whatever. Okay. Where are we at? Git diff jprez plugin gd and OrgPrez plugin gd. Yes, and so now I need to change this one line right here. All right, so load the importer, and we're going to call this add-ons OrgPrez org import.gd. And so that counts for this change and this change. And then what is different in org import? OrgPrez org import. Just this. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I don't really want to commit the Leo thing. I'm gonna commit everything else. I'm gonna move that Leo file like one directory up. I don't have to mess with this anymore. Git move, git add, OrgPrez org. And what we've done here is move importer code to OrgPrez. Move org importer to OrgPrez plugin. Okay, and now we're gonna save the Leo file. Git status, git commit, update OrgPrez.leo. Because this is all redundant, so I like it. It gets self-explanatory. It kind of is acting as a version control system, so I don't kind of silly to keep updated, logs about how you modified it when the file itself says that. Okay, and so now I want to move that one directory up. So file, save as. Well, first, in the source codes, then we're going to change this to OrgPrez plugin.gd and OrgPrez plugin.config, OrgPrez plugin.tc. And eventually we're going to load all those GD script files into org as well, or at least some of them. All right, and then we're going to file save as. And we're just going to keep the same name, but that's completely wrong directory. OrgPrez Godot plugin, and we're going to call this OrgPrez.leo. And here we're going to call this. This failed to save because I forgot the add-ons directory. I'm going to call it path add-ons. Yes, and so it's interesting. It doesn't think you need to do that. I'm just like making changes to. I should have saved all of those. Install. And hopefully nothing got corrupted. Git status. Nothing did. Git add orgprez.leo. .orgprez.leo. And git rm orgprez.leo. And that should register as a move. Git commit. Move orgprez.leo up to plugin directory to Godot plugin directory. Okay. All good. I'm gonna go ahead and push that. That's up on Tangent Storm JPrez if anybody wants to follow along with this. Eventually, this is going to be Tangent Storm /OrgPrez on Godot. On GitHub. See anyone here? People hanging out in chat, they're all there yesterday, so I guess people just pick a channel and stay there. So thanks for keeping me on 24/7, I guess. Either that or the chat is confused. See what I can do. I think if you go to twitch.tv tangentstorm /chat should be the chat box. Maybe the yeah, it says there's like 1, 2, 3, 5 people in here. So I'm guessing you're all bots, or you just fell asleep last night and didn't turn it off. Okay. All right. What's next? Okay, so I realize I'm not doing a lot of code. Like I'm moving things from one to another. So in the project settings, OrgPrez is if I enable this, it should know how to import an org file, right? I guess the test for that would be to just create a new org file and see if it registers. So, oh, did I kill it? No. What is this? Oh, that's weird. Like, why is it? I see you're picking a file here, and then this is telling you which file you're looking at, and then the methods are underneath it. It seems kind of redundant. Like you don't need this line, right? You can tell from right here. I guess in theory this could scroll off the screen. Yeah. All right. So I will just double check that this works. I believe it works. I can't see why it wouldn't work, but let's just test it. So under try that. So if I just go to cd ver a talks work in progress, let's say echo hello, and we'll reco that into hello.org. So now I should see hello.org under work in progress. Import. Go to the project. Let's reopen this file and see if it finds it. JTalks. Down here. And go down to work in progress. And it found. Okay, so my importer works. It does not show every file in that directory because now, for example, there's hello.org import. There's all these svg.import. Dodecahedron sled. What is that? Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know why that's in here, but I'm making a dodecahedron out of wood and printed out this file to. Okay, so actually, there's no reason those should be in the directory. All right, so now the question is, when you click on this, it should do something and it should load. It should open this. All right, so that's the next task. Let's move this to here. See. All right, so org importer is done. Now click org file to edit. All right, so again, we're going to look at the old JPrez code and just extract the lines that do that. I think handles is part of it. And edit is part of it. So edit is called, I believe handles calls edit. Edit. Yeah, edit resource. So the editor itself can edit any resource, and when you do that, right? So it's gonna ask all the plugins whether they handle the particular object. When you double click on an object that you've imported, does it handle that? If so, if this returns true, then edit gets called. And so what this is doing is, okay, so OrgPrez. Based, why do I need that? Oh, I need that because that I need to remember what org file I've opened because I'm going to use that as the path for generating the WAV files when you record something. So that'll come later. And then edit sample. So edit sample is now you're looking at the outline. This gets called by this. Yeah, you connect. This is connected to the outline node. So yeah, the chunks node, outline connect. Chunkless, right? Oh, do I have it backwards? Is what? Outline and chunk list. Why would the outline? Oh, I removed it, but the outline was the. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, right. So these are, I'm looking at two different. I'm confusing myself. Right. So this says what happens when you click on one of the items in the list of nodes, the list of headings. Well, what you're going to do is set org. Set org. So it's calling chunks.setOrg when the outline is connected. And it's passing in the right. So this signal must take a second parameter. Whatever. Right. This is how the two. This is all going to go away because I'm going to merge these two things into one. Cool. So what I really need is this code is all dealing with those. It's dealing with the two panels, the chunk panel, the outline panel that are Godot native, and then the JPrez panel, which is a which is talking to J and actually running JPrez and telling JPrez to load that same file. So the J process independently loads the same org file when you click on the org file. And that part's going away. So this is gonna go away. So I can't actually move this over. But I mean, I can move this over. So to move this over, I need to also move the outline and chunk list teams over. I think in the end, the JPrez directory is just going to completely go away, and this will wind up being like an elaborate rename, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. And the reason I didn't just rename it to begin with is because I wanted to take it piece by piece and reconstruct like the steps you would have had to take to get this thing. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm recording the history. I'm retconning the history, right? Making a fake history, a mythology, if you will, of what how the things came to be this way. A just so story, right? An alternate history, whatever you want to call it. All right, so okay, so can I pop D? Come on, man. I should have pushed D, right? Can I do this? That's not what I meant. I meant that, didn't I? All right, so now I have to figure out where it was. D, JPrez, D, verb, JPrez. CD space dash takes you to the previous directory that you were in before. You can also create a stack with push D and pop D. I should have done push D instead of CD. Whatever. Because now I have to remember where I'm at, but it's Godot plugin add-ons. Okay. All right, so I guess that means in addition to the editor tab, we want the side panels or I guess docs. What do you call them? Doc panels for outline and chunks. All right. So that is going to have to go up here before we get the loader, because the loader, because when we click, we want to affect those things, so they have to be there first. And I think in the end, it's just going to be like, we're going to call this app or panel or the tab we're going to send one message to that tab, and it's going to take care of dealing with the other panels, because they're they're only going to be visible when that app is showing, and they're going to show as soon as the app opens. So I think there only needs to be one. Oh, but right, but that application is OrgPrez plugin.gd. So it will have to do all the same code, but it probably should have one method called you know, org set location, or set file, or set org, or whatever, set chunk, set org chunk, or whatever. Because really it's passing a chunk and a, yeah. Okay, but actually this is for once those files are loaded, right? These two are the ones that say, okay, this is the one that says that, but it's calling these three things. Org resource path. So this actually has to change for OrgPrez. This is slightly different, because OrgPrez, we're going to tell the app to do something. So let's do this. So func handles object is org node. Right, so now, this was all a lot of rambling, wasn't it? Quick file to edit. Quick org file to edit. So let's call this handles. Handles. Not handles. This information is duplicated, right? Hey, it's 9:30. Time to get ready for bed. Copy this node and then paste it as a clone down here. So now I can, not as a this though. That's going to be, okay. So handles method. Where it is. Handles method says which resources are, says what, handles method lets plugin handle respond to resource clicks, or open a resource. That's how to open a resource. Let's plugin opt into editing the resource. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Whoops, that's wrong with code. I'm going to take this. All right, so that should have now, if I save this, that should now be moved. Right. And then now we want edit. So this is actually goes underneath this quick org file to edit. And then we say edit says what to do to actually do when it's clicked. So edit and I'm going to keep the code, but I'm going to comment it out for now. Remember tabs, right? No, but it's not tab. Oh, that's annoying. Wait, how is that? It's a tab, but when I press tab here, it's 8. The wrong numbers. Ah. If I save this and go back and move down here. Copy this character, paste it here. org. So this says remember dear so directory for saving wave files. I'm going to comment that out for now because we're not to that point yet, and probably to do make this wave dear. Okay, I see that I'm pressing tab and it's generating spaces now. If not org dear ends, yeah, so that's this. And all that. That chunks is probably going to go away. And then we say tell the app to load that org file. So this is actually the wrong code. I'm going to keep it for now because I'm doing this move and we'll get to it in a minute. So really nothing has happened so far. We're going to say pass for now. But probably it's going to be like app.set org. I think that's the code that's going to get generated. Now that I've copied that, I can delete this. And there should not be any references to edit left anymore. Or to handles or whatever. Order still there. What is org? Yeah, that was only used by a local variable. That's a parameter, so that should be org. Here's where it's going to be an org. Now this one is actually unused. It's an unused variable. It was never used. Okay, so old JPrez panel, old outline panel, old chunks panel. Really, those are all going to go away. This is going to be called wave dear. I'm going to go ahead and rename it now. I'm not going to check this in yet, but I'm going to call this wav dear. Wave wav. And then org should have. Go ahead and change that here as well. Since it's commented out, and then really there's again copying this little file. Wav dear plus equals dot wave. So I'm making a hidden directory inside that directory for the wave files. So that way they don't clutter up the tree. And we can ignore them and that kind of thing. But I don't like checking in all that. And then this is wow. Okay. Oh, actually, this might be so yeah, that property probably should be called wave dear as well on that other object. Okay, but so I think so now I have to figure out what to actually do here. So what do we do in this situation? So Let's see. So let's go back to the script here. When it enters the tree, okay. Enter tree, instantiate the editor in the tab. So the app and scene is organized plugin.scene, OrgPrez plugin.scene, scene, xscene. So assets, no, not assets, add-ons, OrgPrez plugin.scene. Maybe I can get rid of that and just instead of plugin.scene, because all it has is a JPrez audio tab in it. And if I open that scene, then it has a script attached to it, and I can get at those. I can get at all those properties from that script. So I think I can just get rid of plugin.scene and just call this JPrez audio or OrgPrez audio tab. So let's see. Where do I audio tab? We have this and we have this. So first, let's move these to add-ons, OrgPrez. Couldn't save scene. Likely dependencies couldn't be satisfied. That's not good. Let's close all the scenes. I might have just broken something there. So git status shouldn't be a big deal though. So git rm OrgPrez JPrez audio tab. Sorry, JPrez audio tab .gd. Git rm JPrez audio tab oh GD. There's a little fan in the way I couldn't see. And then dot. Okay, so git status. Deleted those. Now we're going to add these. But we're going to go ahead and rename them. So git move OrgPrez quit the project list. See if we can load this up again. I'm worried it's going to be broken. Because I'm using that scene while the plugin is loaded. I think things are going to be maybe not. Looks reasonably okay. OrgPrez, okay. So we have two new files, which are really just these things. Git add this, add this. All right, so these are renamed. Why am I doing this? Why did I go off on this tangent? Why did I start doing this? Okay, because the overall task is to make something happen when you click on the name of on the org file in the file listing, and I've removed the objects, the visual objects, the components that used to handle that. So now I have to tell the app object to do that. And so to do that, I'm moving the scene, which is the entire app object, to this new to OrgPrez. All right, so that's all correct. And so let's see, git diff jprez OrgPrez. Let's make sure there's nothing else I've done in here. That's all fine. Git add. I do want to go ahead and rename that. And I'm going to let Godot rename it for me, so that it tells JPrez app to rename it. So we're going to go to Bronze, OrgPrez. We're going to rename it with OrgPrez audiotab.gd. OrgPrez audiotab.scene. And then now that should have updated like plugin.scene. It updated the path, but it didn't update this. But I'm going to get rid of plugin.scene. But first I'm going to edit the script. Plugin.gd. This is like a little bit of surgery here. Org import. OrgPrez, and we're going to call it. What's the name of the file? OrgPrez audio tab. Audio tab. So let's project settings. Let's disable the plugin and enable it. And now I would expect to see that still working. Yes. I don't really expect it to look like that though. Like it's too tall. I think there's a min height on this, and so when I do this, yeah, it causes it to screw up. Like this is pushed down beyond the bottom of the window. This is the bottom of the window right here, and this is pushed out. So there's some like this is my fault for having like this thing doesn't expand and contract correctly. So so I'll fix that soon. But and I'm not even going to bother with a note because it's so glaring. Okay, so all of this is now here, so I can delete plugin.tscn. If I delete this, move the trash. And get rm orgprez plugin.tscn. If it's deleted, how does it know? How does the completion work? Get rm, and we remove this. Get add, and we added these. This was a rename operation, but because I let Godot do it, then Git has to catch up a little bit. All right, and I bet now the diff for these three files, git diff jprez and orgprez, I bet these are just renames. Yeah, the app reference got renamed. This app is probably going to go away as well because it's the old application that had the two tabs at the top that I had at runtime, and I think that can just completely go away. Well, it's still the runtime thing. But I think I don't need the editor part, like the audio editor can go. We'll see. So everything's good there. I see I've deleted handles and edit. I need to add edit, so why didn't edit show up? Did I not save this? Sure, you can reload that. No such file or directory. And I saved that, so it didn't recognize that. Godot didn't recognize that I changed that. Perhaps I didn't change that, but I bet if I refresh from disk, it will merge that. And yeah, it did. It merged it into that tab. Oh, Leo. Okay. But my edit method should still be in there. Oh, but I didn't. I have to paste it in as a paste notice clone. And now when I save it, it'll plugin GGR. Yes, overwrite the file. Yeah. So now my all right. Okay. So the point of doing that is that now app is going to be a reference instead of to that plugin thing. It's actually the scene that it's this OrgPrez audio tab scene. I'm going to go ahead and add a class name is OrgPrez audio tab. I don't think I actually need that. That's just a convention I tend to do. So a chunk list, the chunk list and outline are also in this app. That's why they're separate files. So I probably will keep them, but it's this macro stuff needs to be. Can't see what we got. I'm not really trying to change this too much. I haven't really looked at this code at all. But we have those two objects in different places in the scene, and it's hard coded to hook up to the J interpreter. But it's really just sending a signal, which is like a event notification. So this could easily be hooked up to a separate class and could be registered, hookable to something else. So oh, if the prompter text has changed, then the update button is visible. Oh, yeah, the text. Yesterday, I was saying that I thought I had integrated the macro playback for the REPL, and it looks like I didn't, because it would have been something would have been here when the text changes. The REPL should show you you should evaluate the macro up to that point. Modifying the Oh, actually, maybe it does. If the caret position is not the last caret position, modifying the line editor notifies red to play the macro. And the caret position will change if you type a text, so that also covers this text changed event. Okay, so yeah, so some of this needs to be like decoupled a little bit, but because I want this to be independent of the OrgPrez, which the REPL has to go away and all this. Let's see. All right. So again, what do we actually do? So this does have a set org already. So now I can just say I can just say that. I use the same convention when I was doing this. So and then it takes care of talking to the chunk list and the outlines. So I actually think now, like I've glossed over a lot of magic stuff, right? Because I never explained what is actually in this scene. I'm just only looking at it now. But the idea is that when you click on the node in the file editor, the org file, it should cause this to populate because of this function. Now that's a stub that we haven't looked at yet, but whatever it does, that is the process of hooking it up to the Godot interface should be done now, and I believe it is. So let's project settings. We're gonna toggle the OrgPrez thing. So done. And now with OrgPrez, let's unzoom it, and I just pick any org file. So .org, collapse. Fix dependencies. Fix broken. The org node is now in add-ons, OrgPrez, org node. Oops, I picked the wrong one. Org node GD, open. Add-ons, OrgPrez, org node. Org chunk is right there. Why isn't it? Add-ons, org node. I want org node. It's not letting me change anything. All right, let's quit the project list. Don't save. See what happens. Something's broken here, obviously, but yeah, it's a little tricky to. You should probably have like you shouldn't be editing plugins inside of Godot. It's dangerous. It's not dangerous, but like just when you're editing plugins, you know that things are going to go wrong. You're editing the system that you're working on. John Ernest, and the guy that made Decker, and I were talking about this. He made sure to design Decker so that like that can't happen. But the problem, the trade-off, not the problem, but the trade-off is that that your system is a whole lot more stable but slightly less powerful when they're two separate. When the editor is completely separate from the application. All right. Anyway, so this I've reloaded now, and I'm expecting this to do something when I say .org. All right, so I'm going to load a cartoon file, cartoon.org. Fix dependencies. Now I'm going to try this again. If it doesn't work, I'm going to go hack the code. OrgPrez orgnode.gd is right there. Why can't I do that? I don't know. That's a bug. I know I've done this before, so. All right, so let's grep RNI. We'll call it JPrez inside of the org directory. OrgPrez. So I'm looking for references to. Interesting. All right, so then let's look for Prez org in JPrez. Log load failed due to missing dependencies. Add-ons jprez orgchunk.gd. Where is orgchunk? Should it be in the project file? Yeah, okay. That's it. So in the project file, something says screwed up. Project.go. Is this? I'm not sure why that happened. Org chunk. So let's see for Z. Oh, all these places where you have jprez.oh. So okay, so query replace jprez org, and we're gonna replace it with orgprez org. So let's see if that works. Org definitely moved. Org chunk moved. Org cursor moved. That moved. That moved. Okay, so now I have to close that whole project. Close projects. And I have noticed that this kind of stuff is far more stable than in Godot 3.5. They did some kind of work on this, or maybe I just got lucky. All right, so now let's try it again. Q.org. It's really jprez./org, right? Nothing, nowhere. So where is this reference coming from? Error loading q.org. I'm wondering if it's some of these like .import files. But it wouldn't be ignoring the that. I have to do the same thing in JTOGs. Because I'm not opening this project, I'm opening the JTOGs project. Yeah, it's a little confusing with these symlink things. And we've got like millions of WAV files to go through. No, okay. Hmm. I renamed this from org.jpg. I wonder if this is going to be my problem. Let's try this. I'm going to remove. Let's close this because I renamed the importer. I think that might have broken something. Project. Quit the project list. All right, so just while that's find name star.org.import. How do you do this again? How does that work? Oh, echo. All right, gotta look up how to do find Unix, find exec. And then you put the curly braces. Okay, so, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna delete all these files. I bet you can just delete them. I could do an xargs pipe. So as far as I can tell, these contain no information that is useful, and they're going to be recreated. So they're all gone, and now as soon as I open JTalks, they're all going to be recreated. Yeah, re-importing assets, it says. And now, yeah, they're all back. And so now I bet if I open them, didn't do anything. And I think that is because I have not told Godot that this is something that runs inside the editor. And so the fix for that is to OrgPrez app. I want OrgPrez. I wonder if you have to do this for all of them. So if we load the scene there, no, that's the wrong one. Player, the OrgPrez audio test. I think I just need to say tool. And now project, quit the project list. Yeah. It's working, but it's so trim last section is a line from this thing. So if I go to work in progress and I go to dealing cards, search for .org, dealing cards org. Okay, so I am seeing a line from, yeah, I'm seeing the code. But the sizing is all screwed up. Okay, but that's fine. So we've got that there. It's working. We have a valid editor. In fact, I think I said hello world up there, right? So if I click on this is my outline. Things are not working well in there. So maybe those need to also be called tools. And there also should be like a, so I got to fix the sizing on this because this is just crazy now. I think I actually know what's happening. It's never going to, well, maybe. It's taking up the entire size of the application. If I make this super tall, can I see more? No, I can't. Okay, but that's a minor issue. All right, so we've I believe I've demonstrated that now I can click on something and it loads into this container, and now the container itself is like, what do we do with it? So the Godot GUI event handling is all handled, is all done. Okay. Godot. Okay, so let's actually, like, this should already be a tool because it was used on the sides over here. All right, but let's check this in. Appset.org.org. Save this. We're gonna go over here. CD dash. Okay. And I think all of this is related to this. So I think I can just check this in. Git add project.go. Actually, that update project. Godot would be fast. That actually should have been part of the last commit. It doesn't. And then everything else I'm going to add except for Leo. So git add add-ons. Git diff cache just to sanity check it. So what have I accomplished here is git commit m OrgPrez open org file when the resource is clicked. Org file in app tab and the resource is clicked. Alrighty. Git diff OrgPrez. Go. And again, I'm just gonna get OrgPrez. Again, this is a version control system. No point being redundant here. Okay. So we actually don't need this. I had said that we need this, but we do. Yeah. We don't. Right, so org file resources has these two subnodes, org importer and click org file to edit. And if we move this out of here, we can move that to the done category. It's so hard to tell what the tree structure is here. This looks like it's lined up with this to me. I can see it's not. It's indented. That green thing just looks like it's part of the outline. Okay, so Godot presentation though, for create a plugin, we've done that. We create a new top level tab in Godot, we've done that. We've defined org file resources. Done that. Now we've got more to do stuff. Dock panels for outline and chunks. Editor tab. Are these different? This seems like redundant. I'm gonna delete this one. Decks and slides. Nav panels. Okay, so I want to refactor what I have and clean up what I have before I start doing new stuff. So this is a cleanup. I'm going to clean up and get it working again inside of Godot engine. I'm going to separate. I'm going to use signals to make the connection between editing the lines that start with a colon and JPrez that so they can be completely separate. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but we'll see. And then nav panels, outline and chunk list. That is probably going to be a redesign of those two components. Those two components are used in the org file. First of all, they need to be moved over to the OrgPrez directory because they're used in the tab on the app I'm looking at. But first, I need to clean this up so that I can see it. And then I'm probably also going to have a second little tab up there at the top that is for previewing. If I don't do that, then I guess what I would be doing is continuing to have these components in the actual application because they are in the application when you press. So it's so screwed up now you can't even see the run button. The run button, but when you go to the preview, I want this here so that I can debug. And in Godot, you normally do that at runtime and not in the editor itself. But you can like preview animations in the editor, and my thought is that like rather than having this come down and be a
so now we can map numbers to cards. But what if we want to go the other way? Let's say we want to find the queen of hearts.
Like
this here is a string, but our deck is actually an array of symbols. We can't match strings and symbols directly, so we need a symbol. Unfortunately, J doesn't have the syntax for writing symbols, but they're still pretty easy to construct. We can either use less than to box the string, and then pass that to s:, or we can put an extra character at the start of the string and forget the boxing.
Oh, it must be going to my headphones because I couldn't actually hear it. So what I was saying is that this should like if I can't make this little window be part of the interface in Godot, that when I click on it, I can like the stop. The idea is that if I play these ones, then this will go away, right? And I think the idea should be like this is like scripts that I'm writing, but they could have been animations, and they might be what am I trying to say? They might be like useful for it might be useful to just work entirely in terms of animations, because animations are like data, and you can interact with them visually in the editor already. And I think it would be nice to do that as opposed to writing a code that says move this editor from this position, to this position over this many steps, right? Like this many ticks or whatever. I think it's 400 milliseconds to make this move. Because in the animation editor, you can just script that however you want. It's a much more general thing, and now you don't have to be a programmer to use this tool. Because these lines right here are not, they're for interacting with the REPL, but you don't have to use them. And the general idea of just talking, running animations, I think is going to be a better. I'm rambling here. Okay, so what have I accomplished right now? I have accomplished this bit of hooking up the org file resources. So hopefully that is like a unit of work that somebody might understand. I'm going to take a little break for a while, and then I'm going to come back and do another stream probably and try and get the editor working. Trying to decide if this is even worth publishing. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. It doesn't hurt to publish it, so I'm just gonna do what I did yesterday and just upload it to YouTube without any editing. Right? Please tell me if this was useful to anybody. I have no idea if this was useful or not. It was useful to me. I guess it doesn't matter, right? Again, it's trivial to upload this. Some people wanted to. Especially when I was working with Jay, people were interested in this. Godot has a lot more followers, so I don't know if this is interesting to. I haven't really built a Godot audience yet. So I'm rambling. Watch it if you want to watch it. I guess by this point, if you watch this far, then glad to have you here. Subscribe and all that stuff. Anyway, bye.